you guys, it's Karen, and I thought I would come and just give you a little first impressions, I guess you'd call it, of Gabapentin for my migraines and how I'm getting on. It's only day 5 today that I've been on it. I started it last Friday, is that right? Oh, you know what, I have been on it longer than that. Friday is when I started taking one in the daytime. Okay, so I had been taking it for about 5 days before that. So it's about day 10 actually. So let me tell you what I was hoping it would help with and what the prescription was from the doctor, what he said, how he said to take it and how I'm taking it. So I was hoping that it would help with obviously my migraine. That's the number one thing. And I knew it was on the list of medications that my neurologist had given me for migraines. It's actually an epilepsy drug originally. It works, it's an anti-seizure medication. And actually I know my brother is epileptic and he's been on it most of his life. From the longest I can remember, he's been on Gabapentin. My dad was also on it for neuropathy, for diabetic neuropathy. He had a problem with his legs that he would, when he would walk, one would sort of drag, and also he had pain in his legs at night. So I've said to you guys before, I have quite a lot of, I felt like I had quite a lot of knowledge and experience of Gabapentin, though not directly myself, but through family. I had that friend that thought about throwing himself in front of a train. He was taking it for pelvic pain. My dad did fall over and break his ribs while he was on it. And there was lots of studies when I was working in the hospital, and it just didn't sound like a nice drug to me. However, I decided to go for it because it seemed like it was going to work for me for my migraines, because I've got to the point where I think, I can't remember if I've said to you, but I think it might be occipital neuralgia, because, or certainly a touch of that, because I have a lot of neck pain. It seems to make sense to me that my pain is coming from nerves and not from blood vessels, because, you know, they're saying that it's now an outdated theory that migraines are caused by blood vessel issues. And that would explain to me why triptans didn't work for me, because that's what they work on, the blood vessels. So anyway, I was quite hopeful from that point of view. Also, I'm having a big issue with pain and heat in my feet at night, which is a whole nother video, but I feel like I may be diabetic, but the doctor I spoke to about it, I had to do an e-consult, was just, it didn't make any sense what he replied. But anyway, I will have another HbA1c done just to make sure, although I'm on an anti-diabetic drug, as in the Wegovy for the weight loss. So like I said, that's a whole complicated thing. But whatever the cause, I may just have neuropathy. My feet are very, very painful and very hot at night, and it's been keeping me awake. It's one of the things keeping me awake. So the headaches, the nerve pain in my feet, and then the insomnia. I just can't sleep at all, even if my feet aren't hurting. And I thought, you know what, it might help with all of those. Oh, hot flushes as well, with number 4. It's supposed to help with hot flushes. So I thought, this is it. I'm going to give it a go. Let's at least give it a go. And I put in my online consultation form and just said, if you check the neurologist letter, you'll see that the next drug for me is Gabapentin. Please can I have it? And so I should have said in that consultation, please can you make sure I start from the very low dose? But I completely forgot and assumed that that is what the doctor would advise. And in fact, somebody left a comment, which I told Kev about, because I was like, do you see what I mean? I said, it's just, I feel like everybody has to be in charge of their own destiny. And Kev's the type of person that, we jokingly have this argument about, he goes to the doctor and it's just like, this is what's wrong with me and this is what my symptoms are, what should I do? And whatever the doctor tells him, he will do. And he will take whatever medication, he won't look it up. That's him. Me, I will look up what I think I've got, and I'll go to the doctor and go, this is the symptoms I'm having, I think it might be this, I don't think it can be this. And then if they say this is the medication, I'll be like, oh, can I take the extended release one of that, or can I take this instead, And I feel like doctors are just not always right. It's just that simple. And there are some of you I know that are like, listen to the doctor, follow the doctor. I've been told that certainly on Instagram. Somebody said, and Kev says it to me as well. He's like, at the end of the day, they've got more knowledge than you. And I agree with that in terms of they've got more general knowledge about health. But with migraine, not necessarily, because they don't have the time to do the research, and I am somebody that does the research. So sometimes I have the edge in that way, And also they're not me, and they haven't experienced what I've experienced. And also my doctors, I don't have one doctor. It's whatever GP answers the online consult or whoever you can get to see, and they all give different advice. Anyway, I got a response and it was from this guy who's absolutely lovely. I've seen him before face to face years ago. In fact, he snuck me in COVID times to give me acupuncture on my neck, even though he probably wasn't supposed to do it, but he did it for me in case it helped my migraines, And he's lovely. And he just said, yes, I think that's a wonderful idea. I'm really sorry to hear about the pain in your feet. And I've sent a prescription across to where I collect it from. So I went and got it. God, this is a long time for me to talk about gabapentin, isn't it? I've not even started telling you. But I got the prescription and it said it was 300 milligrams of tablets. They're called Neurontin and they have 300 milligram tablets. And immediately I was like, oh no, I had been hoping for the 100 milligram tablets, but I didn't ask. Like I said, I just assumed they would start on the lowest dose. And it said on it, take 1 on day 1, 2 on day 2, and 3 on day 3. And as soon as I read that, I was like, no, thank you. Like I will take 1 and I'll see how I'm affected. And then I'll take 1 for a few days and see how that goes. And then if that's okay, I'll add in another 1 and so on and so forth. But somebody had said, make sure that you start low and follow the doctor's orders, basically the prescription, which I thought that's so funny because I want to start low and I would definitely start low and increase slowly. But if I'm following the doctor's prescription and what he's told me to do, that's not the case. Anyway, so I took 1 on the first night and I felt stoned. That's what I said to Kev. Mind you, I've been stoned once in my life, which was Kev and I in Amsterdam made a huge mistake and had too much hashish and it was horrible. It's the only time in my life I've ever had dope or whatever you call it, grass in fact I think it was we had. My brother smokes regularly and he thought it was hilarious when I told him what we did. Anyway, we were stoned then and that's what it felt like, and I said to Gib, I feel a bit stoned. I said, not quite as stoned as we were in Amsterdam, but I feel stoned. I said, so it's not awful, I just feel a bit mellow and sleepy. That's all I felt, I was like, so that's fine. If this is all I get from it, that's fine, and hopefully it will help my sleep. So like I said, this was about 10 days ago, and I took that for about 5 days because I was very, very tired and like I said, a bit stoned, and I wanted to get to a place where I was almost having no side effects. I also had a headache, not a migraine, but a headache for the first couple of days, just a mild headache. I think that was it. Yeah, that was it. So like I said, I just wanted to keep an eye on things and take it. I took it for 5 days and was like, okay, that's fine. I can add another one in now. So the next one to add in was in the morning. Wow. That was on Friday. That's what happened on Friday. So I got up and took the gabapentin on Friday morning, and I took it I would say I probably took it at 6:30. By 9 o'clock, it kicked in. I've worked out, it takes about 2.5 hours to kick in for me. And it was it's like I'd had about 20 vodkas, and I've never had 20 vodkas in my life. It was like that kind of, you're so drunk, you just need to go to bed. And I don't like feeling drunk anyway. I'm not somebody that likes to feel drunk, but it just was awful. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm so tired. I feel so drunk. Kev thought it was funny, but I just went to bed. So, I woke up about 2 o'clock. So I slept I waited till Watson had been picked up and I slept till about 2 o'clock. So it was 9, 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, like 5 hours or something ridiculous. And I was like, this is not good. And even when I woke up, I still felt like groggy and tired, and I could have stayed in bed. In fact, I think it was Watson jumping on the bed that got me up, and I was like, okay, I'm up. And I kind of sat through here for another couple of hours, and then I started feeling better about 4, 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was like, oh my God, like there's no way I can cope with that. That's just too much. So I said to Kev, it'd be interesting to see how it is Saturday, Sunday, because I didn't take any tramadol on the Friday, and I normally try to take tramadol on Saturday and Sunday so that I can go for a walk with my boys. And on Saturday, actually, Kev was golfing, so I was going to need to look after Watson, so I knew I would need one. Now, the annoying thing is with the tramadol is I have to take it as soon as I get up. It's the same as like if you take triptans. I found with everything with a migraine, you have to take it like from any sign and almost when you don't have a migraine. And since I've been having a migraine every day for years, apart from maybe 1 or 2 days a month, and even that hasn't happened the last couple of months. I just take it because if I wait to see if I've got a migraine, normally as soon as it comes on, if I take the drug then it takes another 2 hours to kick in. That seems to be my kind of window, 2.5 hours. And so if we're sitting here and I don't take a tramadol and I get a migraine, which is usual, I can't go on his walk because he's ready for a walk. He's not going to wait another 2.5 hours for us to take him for a walk, you know. Plus we normally want to go out and then finish at lunchtime so we can have a lunch and get other things done, you know. So I take it in the morning. So I knew I was going to take the tramadol on Saturday and Sunday, and I thought it'd be interesting to see how it is with the tramadol. I know, before anybody jumps on me, I know that you need to be careful with gabapentin. You need to be careful with it mixed with many, many drugs. With codeine, which I'm still prescribed, but rarely take, if ever. You need to be careful the fact that I'm on amitriptyline, but I've reduced that right down. You need to be careful when you take tramadol because it can exacerbate the respiratory effects, so you don't want to like depress your breathing too much. I don't feel too bad taking the tramadol because I'm taking it in the morning, and tramadol doesn't seem to have, it doesn't make me sleepy or anything like that, you know. In fact, it has the opposite effect for me. So I took the tramadol, and I know that I'm on a fairly low dose of gabapentin now at the moment anyway. Took the tramadol, took the gabapentin. This is on Saturday. Actually, I tell you the other thing I did is I tipped a little bit of the gabapentin powder out of the capsule because I was like, I'm not taking a full dose because if I do, I won't be able to look after Watson today. Not thinking the tramadol would necessarily do anything. But it was a fine day. Nothing happened. I didn't get any side effects from the gabapentin. I would say I probably took a quarter of the tablet, the powder out, and then put the capsule back together. I had hoped I would get tablets that I could break in half if they were 300 milligrams, you know. So I knew that I hadn't taken the full dose, plus I'd taken the tramadol. So I thought, well, let's see what happens on Sunday. Sunday I'll take the full dose because Kev wasn't golfing. God, I'm rambling. I hope this isn't too boring. What was I saying? Sunday, yeah, Kev was here. So I knew that even if it did knock me out and I felt really tired, Kev was here to look after Watson. So I got up, I took my tramadol, and I took the full dose of the gabapentin on Sunday. And on Sunday, I felt drunk, not stoned. I felt a little bit drunk, and not in too bad a way. Like I said, I don't feel sick. I didn't feel like I needed to go to sleep. I just felt drunk. And I said to Kev, I'm surprised that there's not a big sticker on the front of these drugs saying do not operate machinery or drive. It doesn't say that. I haven't read the whole information leaflet, which you're supposed to do, but you know, who does that? You're supposed to do that. They're not often right though. I think that's why I don't, again, that's a whole other thing from when I worked in research. The patient information leaflets are sometimes outdated, especially the ones for hormones. I've got pharmacists that watch me. You can let people know I'm right. You know I'm right. The HRT information leaflets have a lot of stuff in them that's not quite right. Anyway, I just felt a bit drunk, and I said, I'm surprised that I've not been told not to drive if it affects me this way. But I mean, it's just common sense, isn't it? So I was going to say to Kev, why don't you take Watson for a walk and I'll go and get the shopping done because we need to get groceries done. But I said to him, I don't think I can drive. I said, so I'll come on the walk. So I went on the walk, and the drunkenness, I would say, lasted about half an hour, not very long at all, actually. And he said it does literally seem like you've just had a couple of cocktails. You know, sometimes when I come home, I'll have had 2 cocktails and that makes me drunk. I don't have a high tolerance for alcohol at all. Like a mouthful of wine would make me drunk. And he said it was exactly like that, exactly like when you come home drunk. So I was like, right, okay. That's not too bad because I didn't need to go to bed. I was able to go on the walk. I was able to have conversations. You know, no, I don't think anybody else would have known I was drunk. Well, I wasn't drunk, but you know what I mean? They wouldn't have thought that. So I was like, oh, that's okay. So then today's Tuesday, yesterday was Monday. So I thought how interesting it will be to see what happens on Monday when sorry about that, I had a whole bunch of alerts coming up there. I thought it'd be interesting to see what happens on Monday, because on Monday I'm not going to take any tramadol. It's, you know, my non-tramadol day, if you like, and I'm going to take the full dose of gabapentin. So let's see if it's the same as Friday, i.e. it knocks me out, or if, because 4 days have passed, it calms down. Because they say to get in touch with the GP if the side effects don't go in 1 to 2 weeks. And so I thought, let's see. And yesterday I took it again at 6:30 when I got up, and at 9 o'clock, thankfully Watson got picked up. Again, it just knocked me completely out. And it wasn't like being drunk. It was just completely floored me, like like I was stoned, like I said, like I'd had no sleep, like it was the middle of the night. I just went to lie down, and I woke up at 12, so it was a bit less. I had 3 hours sleep. It was a horrible sleep, same as on Friday. It was a horrible sleep, horrible dreams. And you know, when you have that kind of sleep and you wake up and you just feel so groggy and disorientated, it was horrible. So I got up, came through here. Kev phoned, actually. He made his lunchtime call. I always talk to him at lunchtime, and he said, "Oh, sorry, are you sleeping?" And I was like, "No, I've just got up," but it obviously sounded as if I was still sleeping. And I basically sat here for the rest of the day. This is only yesterday. Today's Tuesday. This is only yesterday. And I was so annoyed. I think that was the least I've ever got done, because even, well, not on severe migraine days, but thankfully they're few and far between. I'm normally on moderate migraine days. I can drag myself to get a shower or a bath, and I can get Watson's game done. I can do a few things. And like Kev came home, he actually came home early so he could do Watson's evening walk. And he said, and I said to him, all I've done today is I managed to cut up a watermelon and I made Watson's game. And as always, he gets annoyed at me, and he's like, "But you cut up a watermelon and you made Watson's game." And he was like, "You know, you just got to look at it the other way. This is what you achieved despite being on strong drugs that knock you out." So I just felt really low yesterday because, like I said, it was about 4 or 5 o'clock, and I was just like, I can't put up with this. And I really thought this one might be the one that would work for me, you know. So I went and read some reviews, and that really helped me. Oh, blimey, somebody's not happy. But one of the other things I should tell you is, this is why I write notes, because otherwise you get videos like this of me just rambling. But the other thing I should tell you is it didn't help with my sleep. I haven't been sleeping all the way through. It makes me sleepy. It hasn't helped my sleep. But I think that might be because I'm sleeping during the day, if you know what I mean. I mean, I didn't on Saturday, Sunday, I didn't sleep in the day, but Friday and Monday, I slept during the day. So no wonder I didn't have a very good night's sleep. I found it hard to get off and all that, you know. It's also, I have had hot flushes during the night, and last night my feet were hurting. They weren't quite as bad as usual, but they were hurting. But that's the first time since Friday. What I did notice, however, was that I didn't have a headache. The migraine that I have, as you guys know, is not just a headache. It's the feeling of confusion. They say it's stroke-like symptoms: confusion, off balance, a headache as well, sometimes, not all the time, and that's varying degrees, but most of the time I've got a background headache. And on my tramadol days, I normally take a paracetamol. I don't take anything on my non-tramadol days. That's the point. You're not supposed to take anything. And I suddenly thought, you know what? I didn't have a headache. And I noticed it actually, I can't remember which day, but one of the days I said to Kev, "Do you know what? I've not taken any paracetamol today." It must have been Saturday. And I said, "That's really unusual. On my tramadol day, I normally take tramadol, and then the headache part comes on and I take paracetamol. The tramadol seems to deal with the dizziness and the confusion and the noise sensitivity and all of that. But the paracetamol works for the actual headache, but I didn't take any." And the same thing happened on Sunday. So that's where I'd started to get really, really hopeful that this is going to work. This is going to work. Because also yesterday and this morning and another day, I can't remember which one, in that period where I'd got up at 6 and didn't go to bed until 9, I put my makeup on, and then I got loads of things done. I did the ironing, I edited a video, or looked at a video. No, I edited a video, one for my Watson channel. I made some little brownie things. I did loads of stuff, and that's not like me at all, because normally I wake up and have a migraine and I sit here and do my makeup. And on the days I take a tramadol, I'll sit here waiting for the tramadol to kick in. And so I don't normally actually start to do anything until 9, 10 o'clock. But I was just like, so that was with no drugs in my system except for the gabapentin. So I really do think it'll work. But if that tiredness doesn't go away, that's going to be horrendous. So anyway, you know, I was kind of upset and talking to Kev, and I said, I need to stay strong. I know I do, because I know when I first took amitriptyline, it was the same thing. I was sleeping, but I was so lucky that was a time I was in between jobs when I got amitriptyline, and I'd actually been offered the job at NHS, but I wasn't to start for another like 3 or 4 months. I remember thinking it was really weird, but that's the way the NHS is. It's not like one of those where you get the job and you start next week, you know. I wasn't going to be starting for a few months, and that worked out perfectly because I didn't need to work. And I was able to take I think it was 3 months I was off. It's the only time I've not worked in my life, apart from now. And so I was able to just sleep through the amitriptyline, and that's what happened. I would sleep through the night. I would go to bed at 8 o'clock, and then I would get up in the morning about 8 o'clock or something, and then I'd go back to bed at 10. I'd get up again at 1, and I'd probably be awake then until about 8 o'clock, and then I'd go back to bed. And that lasted a couple of months, and it just got better and better, you know. So I was really thankful that I was able to have that time to get past it. So I know that if you persevere, it can go away, you know. But this was just so severe. The tiredness was so severe that I can't function. And I was like saying to Kev, like, I can't, it won't make any difference that I don't have a migraine if I can't actually function. You know, I actually can get more done when I've got a moderate migraine, even though it's worse, like it's worse suffering, but I can still push myself to do things I couldn't with this tiredness. I was just like sleeping. So I decided to go and read some user reviews, and there's loads of user reviews for gabapentin for all different types of things, but I was reading the ones for migraine, and it reminded me of things that I should already know but didn't. I think your knowledge disappears when you're in panic mode, you know. And because I was panicking, I was just like, this is never going to work. But I read these reviews and they were really helpful. And it was talking about the fact that if you suffer with too much tiredness from the drug, you can take it at night. And that can work for some people, even taking it at night. And there was people that had migraines, but were taking gabapentin at night, and it was still working to prevent their migraine. So that was one thing I was like, right, okay, if this doesn't go away in a week or so, then I can try and take another one at night, take it at night instead of in the morning. I'll speak to the pharmacist. The pharmacist at my GP practice is new. His name's Dan, and he's lovely. I've actually spoken to him a couple of times, and so I can actually get an appointment to speak to him, and he can kind of help me adjust my dose. But what I also thought about was, do they do an extended release? And they do. So there's a slow release form of gabapentin, and that's normally when you take slow release, you don't get as many side effects. When I was on metformin years ago, I asked for metformin slow release, and it was much better on my stomach, much gentler. So that made me feel so much better yesterday. I was like, okay, so there may be a way to work through this. You know, I might be able to take it at night. I might be able to take an extended release, and that might stop the tiredness. And also the tiredness might just disappear over the next week or so. Today is a tramadol day. I woke up and could feel noise sensitivity this morning, which is normally my sign of migraine. So I took my tramadol, I took my gabapentin. It's 9:15, so the drug will have kicked in, but for me, it seems like the tramadol is stopping the side effects of being really tired, which obviously I can't, that's not something I can continue to do going forward. You know, long term, the whole point is to stop tramadol. And I would be delighted to stop it. I know there are long-term risks with it. So that's where I'm at. I think that's everything. I'd be surprised if you were still here. Maybe you are, because if somebody else is, you know, I'm going to put this up as my experience of gabapentin so far. And that's what I was looking for. I was looking for videos yesterday on YouTube of an experience of gabapentin, and I only found one. Like, there was loads from doctors and pharmacists, but I wanted to find somebody that said, this is what happened to me, you know. And I was trying to find out how long it took people. If anybody has experienced this, please let me know how long it took people to get over the tiredness. And if they did, if anybody had that severe tiredness at the beginning and got over it, because a lot of the reviews I read, nobody said I was really tired at the beginning, but that went away. What I read was I was tired, but then I switched to the evening dose, or I was tired, so I switched to extended release, you know, something like that. Actually, I didn't read that one. I made that up. But, you know, nobody said I was tired, but it went away. The ones that did say they had side effects that went away were very mild. So I'd love to hear from anybody that's had like the severe tiredness and it's gone away. But yes, that's where I'm at. So I am cautiously optimistic, trying not to be too optimistic, but I'm literally, I can feel in my head, I'm like, this is it. This is the end of my suffering of these 7 years. And like the last 3 years have just been daily and awful. And I'm like, this is the start of me being able to plan every day, you know. And I'm like, maybe I can film a video on Thursday, because although Thursday's not a tramadol day, I might be all right, you know. I can feel myself planning things and thinking this is helping. Because again, like today, normally by now I would have taken paracetamol as well, because I would have started to get the headache side of things, and I haven't. Like I said, I had a mild headache with it when I first took it, but it went away. So yeah, that's everything to tell you. I hope that this will be helpful to somebody, and I will come and update you on how I get on the rest of this week, you know, with the tiredness, if it still hits me when I'm not on a non-tramadol day, or if I manage to switch it to the evenings, if I talk to the pharmacist, I'll come and let you know, of course, because I think, like I said, I think this is really useful. It would have been useful to me to have seen somebody else's experience. And it's something that you think, how is that going to work for a migraine? But because it was on the nerve pain, that's why I thought, yeah, let me give it a go. And yeah, I feel like this might be the thing for me. So please keep all of your fingers and toes crossed. Shout outs to the universe. Pray if you're somebody that prays. I would appreciate all good thoughts, and I will update you soon.